Hello, everyone. Hello. Long time no no chat. I haven't done a live in such a long time. I'm very sorry. Um, my initial goal was to try to do a live every day at least. However, due to some unforeseen circumstances, my family arrangements have changed, so I was not able to meet up to my expectations of doing a YouTube live every day, but I hope that we can have some people join us on today's live because I really wanted to talk about some common IELTS speaking topics you may be asked on your exam. I hope the lighting is okay. Um, my face is a bit dark, so we will try to fix that. However, so on today's live, I wanted to discuss some IELTS speaking topics that you may be given whether you are taking the academic or general examination. Um, so the thing is that honestly, you really don't know what topic you are going to be given on your IELTS speaking exam. And you need to become familiar with so many different topics when you are, in fact, studying for your IELTS speaking exam. So, number one, the reason why you need to become familiar with certain topics is, you need to learn different types of vocabulary you can use, and in what context you could use these words in. One thing I wanted to mention is that while you are learning these different about these different topics, you should learn some synonym language that you could use when you are responding to the examiner. So, one thing I wanted to mention is that uh, the basics, we do know that you will be asked about yourself, if you live in an apartment, a house, if what your family size is. Maybe about your hobbies, your routine. So you really need to research on these type of topics that you may be given, and then learn synonym language, learn sentence structure, how you would answer your question for these given topics, so that way you are able to, in fact, answer the examiner and get a high band. So, what type of topics have you been asked? I know many students have told me that they've been asked questions literally that range from technology, that range from scenic views in their hometown, that range from tell me somebody that inspires you, tell me about an athlete that inspires you. There's so many different questions you may be asked on the IELTS speaking exam. And becoming familiar with these are very, very important. So I have put together an IELTS speaking plan of not really the topics, but exactly how you should structure your essay. I'm going to put down that IELTS speaking plan, the link to that down below in my description box after this live ends, just so you are able to download that speaking plan and you have a step by step structure of what to study every day. I mean, if you're not familiar with what you are studying with every day, or if you don't have a study plan, then you are going to be wasting your time because you don't know what to cover every day or what to study every day. So, this is something I did want to mention, but let's talk about part one. So, in part one, the examiner it's the first part of the three parts, and the examiner is going to ask you, like I mentioned earlier, your name, who you are, why. He might even ask you why you're taking the exam, maybe about your family size, if you work or you study. your interests. And these questions are quite straightforward. So, literally, you don't have to use any complicated language when you are answering these questions. So, it's a perfect opportunity for you to be able to practice your coherence and fluency and show the examiner your comfort level of speaking English. Just remember that this is an English test. Even if you don't know the answer to something, literally just give another answer, like relate it to something else. Like, for example, let me give you an example. If the examiner asks you, what is your favorite sport? What if you're not into sports? So what are you going to say, right? So the best way to answer such a question is maybe say something like, actually, I'm not somebody who enjoys sports. However, my favorite hobby is painting. Maybe. So that way you are not just answering with, oh, I don't really like sports. Because yes, the examiner asked you about your sport, about a sport that you enjoy, but don't answer uh direct. You could answer the question directly, but make sure you add on to it if you cannot relate to the topic the examiner is asking you. So that was IELTS speaking part one I wanted to discuss. And in part two, remember that this is, in fact, the longest part of the three parts of the IELTS exam. So the examiner will give you a question. With 3 to 4 sub questions. So he may ask you, tell me about somebody you find very inspirational. Who are they? When did you discover them? And what do you find inspirational about them? So that's 4 questions you have to ask, right? That you have to answer when you are responding to the examiner. So the examiner will give you 1 minute to prepare your answer, to speak for a full 2 minutes. And in this 1 minute, you have to prepare your answer. Write 3 to 4 words to remind yourself of what you are going to discuss during this time. So I always give my students the suggestion of making sure that you actually what was I going to say? That you actually write what you are going to you write a few words of how you are going to introduce the topic, right? And how you are going to conclude the topic, because you're not just going to answer these questions and then tell the examiner you're done. Remember, this is a discussion between you and the examiner. So you want to make sure that you show the examiner your comfort level of speaking English. You introduce the topic, and maybe you say it's actually, I remember the first time I discovered, I don't know, Oprah Winfrey is someone I find inspirational. I remember a time I discovered Oprah Winfrey. I find her to be such an inspirational woman because of all the great charity work she has done in society, maybe. So this is a way to introduce the topic, and then you could go along and answer the questions the examiner is looking for. And when you are preparing your answers for that 1 minute, guys, try to write synonym language on your paper, so that way you remember to use these words when you are in fact answering the question. So that was part two. And then finally, part three of the speaking section, you will be asked questions about that could relate to the same question in part two the examiner is asking you, or the questions could be totally different. It may not relate to part two at all. So you need to remember to answer these questions, and you need to make sure that you use synonym language, and remember that these questions could be more abstract. They could relate to society, culture, maybe current events. The questions fluctuate so much. I can't really tell you what type of questions you will see in IELTS speaking part 3. But you need to remember that the questions that he asks you in part 3, they kind of relate to one another, even though he might jump from one topic to the next. And you need to remember that when you are answering your questions, I always tell my students, for all the parts in IELTS speaking section, try to respond with 3 sentences maximum for each question the examiner is asking you. That way, you are showing the examiner your comfort level of speaking English. Structure your questions correctly so that way you are fully answering the question and you are not missing out on any topics the examiner is asking you. So another tip I wanted to give you is that uh, you really need to make sure that you write in a not you write you speak in a fluent and a coherent way. Whatever, what let's say in IELTS speaking part 2, the examiner asks you 3 questions. You just remember that if you could connect your ideas correctly, if you could hello, Carwala. How are you? If you could answer your, if you could respond with the answers being mixed up because they make more sense, and you could be more fluent within these topics, then make sure you could change around the answers so that way you are able to speak in a very fluent and coherent manner. So, guys, another thing I really, really wanted to discuss is that you need to stay calm on IELTS speaking exam, because trust me, the examiner could sense that you are nervous. But if you are able to stay calm, believe me, this will help you think of ideas. Like, I can't imagine being nervous while I'm talking because I can't think straight to come up with ideas of what I'm going to discuss. So, this is something you really, really need to consider when you are, in fact, answering your questions in the IELTS speaking exam. Just think of it as an informal discussion. Be comfortable. Be confident. Confidence is the main thing. If you are confident, you could run this world, okay? So make sure you stay confident, you stay committed to what you are trying to say, so that way you are able to respond to the questions, and whatever question the examiner asks you, like I said, you could relate it to another topic. S- Hello, Samantha. How are you? Samantha, we were just talking about the some IELTS speaking topics you may see on your exam. You may be asked. There are so many different topics you may be asked, but what 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 the whole point of today's live was that when you are given a topic that you cannot relate to, such as sports I was saying earlier, then you really, really need to show the examiner your comfort level of being able to take that question. Let's say sports, do you like any sports? You don't just say, no, I actually don't like any sports. Say, you could literally say, to be honest, I'm not someone who really enjoys sports. However, I have a hobby of really loving to paint on my free time. Because even though you could not relate to sports, you could relate to something else. And remember that the whole point of the IELTS exam is your comfort level of being able to speak English and your confidence level. So you are just trying to show the examiner you are confident in whatever he is asking you, and you are able to sway the conversation to another maybe topic without feeling under pressure, I guess I should say. So that's very important in the IELTS speaking exam, that you need to be confident in what you are trying to say or what you are trying to relate. So the examiner might also ask you certain things, such as maybe a future goal you have. And you need to make sure that when he does ask you a question about a future goal you may have, that you speak in the future tense, right? If he asks you about a goal you have, you can't be talking in the present form. You need to talk in the future form. So you need to remember to use the correct grammar and punctuation when you are responding to the examiner. This is so important because it's an English test, guys, and he is marking you on these particular descriptors if you are able to do them or not. If he asks you, tell me about a time, or tell me about a certain area you visited. I don't know, but somewhere you visited, maybe a scenic view you visited. This is in the past tense, so make sure you are responding to the examiner in the past tense. I remember I visited Niagara Falls once, and it was such a beautiful area because the waterfall is so amazing to see. Something like this. I visited in the past. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I actually visit Niagara Falls every summer." He's not asking you how many times you visited. You could mention that how many times you visit Niagara Falls, but remember to speak in the correct form. So guys, I just wanted to see if anyone has any questions. Remember that the IELTS speaking exam, you need to remain confident. You need to be comfortable in whatever topic the examiner is asking you. Really, really try to relate to it. If you can't relate to it, like I gave you the example earlier, sway the conversation to another topic, but don't just end your sentence within one sentence, because that's not going to help you, and that will actually score you a low band. So I was gonna say, I know that some students have actually, in fact, told me that they were given some really challenging topics in IELTS speaking. I wanted to discuss those before I sign off. So I know one student had reported recently. Oh, thanks, Samantha. I wish to do that. I've heard great things about India. So, Samantha, I actually have IELTS speaking ladies only group. If you are interested in joining, I can send you that group over on Telegram. And that way you are able to join. And I actually do some face YouTube, like a Telegram lives on there. So then that way you are able to stay up to date with that. So what I was saying is, on the IELTS speaking section, some students have been reported to they were asked about barbecues, barbecue season. Do you like barbecues? What do you like to make on the barbecue? Hi, Shania. Thanks for joining us. And you need to make sure that when you are, in fact, asked about barbecues, barbecue season, uh, that you give related synonym words that relate to barbecues. It's so important. I like to do I like to do lives on YouTube and ask you how exactly you would answer these questions. Yes, Shania, I in the beginning of this live, I was saying that my hopes were to sign on every day for a live, but unfortunately, um, some plans have changed. So my 3-year-old son, has been home with me. So uh, I'm not able to sign on a live during the day while he's home, but definitely this is something I want to continue doing lives more often because I really want to be able to help you all. So as I was saying, the IELTS speaking group about maybe speaking section about questions that relate to barbecue. What exactly would you say if you were asked a question about barbecuing? Let's say you're a vegetarian. What are you going to say? But there are so many things you could say. Relate some vegetables that you may grill on the barbecue grill. Maybe you could respond with when you usually go, who you go with, what do you do there, even if you don't go barbecuing. Like I said, don't just say, actually, I don't like barbecue, I don't go. No, you have to say, to be honest, I'm not too fond about barbecuing, but however, I really enjoy spending time with my family in the summertime in the park, and I bring some rice and, I don't know, paneer, like like Shania said. Exactly. There are so many different things you could say, but you need to make sure you show the examiner your comfort level of speaking English. This is all that the exam is about. Let me tell you guys, it's not about responding to the answer and relating to it. No, you may not be able to relate to some topics, but try to sway the conversation another way, and so that way you are able to show the examiner that you are in fact able to respond to the question in a different way. So I'd like to ask you guys, Shania, have you taken the IELTS exam? I forgot if you've taken it or not. If not, I know that practicing is so important because that's the only way you'll get better. And the best way, honestly, if you want to practice a topic, you should just search words that relate to barbecue season. And that way you'll find a list of words on Google, and you could use one or two of those in a sentence and try to practice them. So that way you are able to remember it, because it's one thing to look up a list of words, but if you don't practice it, then you won't remember using these words in in um in your answers. So if you are able to practice, if you want to practice a word, the best way to do it is to literally write it in a sentence, so that way you are able to remember the word on exam day. Sorry, I thought I took out my mic. So, guys, I'm going to end today's live. I just wanted to come on here, hop on here, help you all about certain IELTS speaking topics you may be given on your exam. It's so important that when you are, to sum up what I was trying to say, um, if you are able to practice certain topics before exam day, this is extremely important. Shania, I am going to send you the telegram. I will definitely send that telegram. I'm a bit new to it, but Shania, if you could email me, I'm a bit new to the telegram. I'm not sure how I could send you my ID, telegram ID. Maybe if I send you my email, you could email me and then I will send you the direct link on there. So I'm just gonna, if you want to shoot me an email, then I can send you the direct link on there. So, guys, once again, for IELTS speaking topics you are not familiar with, make sure that you do not just answer the question directly. Samantha, I'm married with 2 kids. I'm old. So make sure you answer the question directly. And if you cannot relate to a topic, make sure that you are able to um, respond using an alternative question. So, Samantha, have you ever taken the IELTS exam? Okay. Yes, Shania, planning to I'm actually planning to offer IELTS speaking classes for women only. I find that there's a big demand for women only classes. So, this is something I am actually planning to offer very soon, probably within the next month, because I find that women would feel comfortable with just women practicing women. So if this is something you are interested in, then I will definitely send you. I have an email. I'm going to, if you could sign up to my email subscription list, that way you will be excuse me, you will be notified once I put out once I start offering these classes. I'm just going to that email list, so you are able to join. And once you join, gi- you will be provided with the most up-to-date information that I will be offering. So whoever needs an IELTS speaking plan, please IELTS study plan, sorry, study plan and speaking plan. Make sure you join my email list right on this link here. I'm gonna pin the message. That way, you are able to be given a study plan that helps you day to day what exactly to study. And once you are on my email list, I will be sending out emails with the most up to date information of what exactly we will be planning to do and offering IELTS speaking classes for women. Okay, on the 15th of April. That's great, Shania. Um, I will definitely be offering those classes. So if you need help, then please join. It's going to be very affordable for everyone. I've realized it's important to help you all and to be able to help so many people. In order to be able to help so many people, I need to make it group classes. So that way I am able to assist so many people. It's very hard for me to coach people one on one. So this would be group classes, which would be capped at 30 people maximum. So please join my email list so that way you are able to be notified once these classes are offered. So, since we have a few of you guys here, let's do a little bit of a speaking session. Since I talked about IELTS speaking topics so much, I want to make sure that I can help you guys. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm just pulling up my document here of different questions that you may see. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Are you good at telling jokes? You could so if you guys want to respond to this question in the chat box, I can help you and let you know if the way you have formatted your answer is correct or if it needs some improvement. Qu- So typically, we don't want a straight up answer like no. Usually, we want complete sentences and try to respond to this question in 3 sentences. So, Quainine, I want you to try again. Even if you're not good at telling jokes, try to respond with 3 sentences. Great answer, Samantha. Yes, definitely. In my leisure time, I spend my time with friends telling them jokes. And that's a great answer. I would even add one more sentence to that answer just to make it a little longer. I would respond with one more sentence. I'm going to give everyone else a few minutes. All right, I'm going to ask another question, and whoever responds with the other uh question, I will give you feedback. Okay, so I am a joke cracker. Whenever I crack a joke, everyone laughs, and I have been making videos on Snapchat for entertainment purposes. Very good answer, Shania. I like that it's long. You explained what exactly or how you tell jokes, right? And that's a great answer. Okay, I'm going to ask another question. So do you study or do you work? So typically, when you are asked this type of question, do you work or study? The best way to give an answer is, like I said, don't just say, "Oh, I work." Try to tell them where you work. Try to tell them where you study or what you're studying. I am a vocational student currently. I am working in a mall as an account manager. Yes, that's great, Shania. Great answer. Exactly. So Shania is a great example of answering this question. She says she's a student. She doesn't use the word study. It's always good to use synonym words. Do not use the same words in the question that the examiner asks you, because you want to show the examiner you're comfortable with speaking English. So she used the word vocational student, and she mentioned that she is currently, in fact, working at the mall as an account manager. So let's see if there's anyone else who's going to respond. But the trick to answering questions, like I said, is to always try to answer or respond with three sentences maximum for these type of questions. So that way you are able to really relay your response and show the examiner you understand what he's asking you. So how about this one? You've Do you visit your hometown often? Let's see if anyone responds to this one. I'll give you guys one more minute to respond. Hometown is dear to everyone. Whenever I miss my near and dear place, dear, I will definitely visit my birth. That's a great answer, Shania, but I would make sure that you mention where your birthplace is, right? Because the examiner would probably be curious to know what country are you from? Where is your hometown? So try to respond with giving the name of your hometown, so that way the examiner gets a picture of where exactly your hometown is. So let's see if anyone else is going to respond. Um, Before I sign off, please, guys, If you want the IELTS study plan, make sure you sign up to my mailing list. I've pinned it at the top of this chat box so you are able to see um, the link to being able to download the IELTS study plan. As I mentioned, I will be offering IELTS speaking classes for ladies only, so that way you feel comfortable being able to practice with other fellow female students. And I think these classes will really help you. Once these classes are launched, they will be live. They will be run by myself. Make sure you sign up to my mailing list so then that way you are able to be notified when these classes are launched. I'm hoping to launch these by the end of this month maximum, and you will be notified if you do sign up on my mailing list. So, guys, I'm going to sign off for today because it seems like I didn't get any more responses for this given question. I wanted to thank you all for joining me on today's live. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed, because I do go on lives every now and then, and you are able to be notified when these lives happen. I wish you guys all the best of luck on your IELTS speaking journey. Take care for now. Bye, everyone.